Greetings to everyone. Now I am going to talk about Python overview. I am Dr. Jane from Department of Computer Application, BCA College, Trichy. This is my presentation outline. First, overview of computer language, then introduction to Python, then history of Python language, and Python application, features, and Python famous IDEs, and installing Python procedures. Machine language. Machine can understand zeros and ones, but which is difficult to understand by the human. So machine language can't understand by the human. So a new language is needed. Then assembly language is proposed. For example, if a series of number is present, for example 001, 1000, 1010, machine can understand what it means, but human can't understand it. So intermediate language needed between human and machine. So they move on to assembly language. We can consider a real-time example. Consider three persons A, B, C. A know only Tamil and B know only English and C know Tamil and English. So A can communicate B through C because C knows Tamil and English, but A know only Tamil and B know only English. So A and B can't directly communicate. Similarly, machine, that means computer, can't communicate with human directly because computer knows zeros and ones only. But a intermediate, that is interpreter or compiler, can communicate between human and machine. So this assembly language is combination of numbers and mnemonic codes. For example, we can little bit understand this assembly language. For example, move x comma 10, move y comma 20, add x comma y, which means we can understand x value is stored as 10 and y value is stored as 20 and addition of x and y is performed. So we can little bit understand the assembly language code, but it also difficult to understand by the human. So they move on to high level language. So these are the examples of the previous code. So this language also difficult to human. So move on to high level language. This high level language has a special feature, that is this language is purely written in simple English. So it's not complicated because the high means most of the people think it's complicated, but it's not complicated. High means it's written in a simple English language, but it can easily understand by the human, and most of the high level language are platform independent. It can run in any kind of platform. So based on these features, these high level languages are popular. In that, two languages dominating the world, one is Java, another one is Python, and Java's peak era is in the finished stages. Python overcome Java in all platforms except scripting side. In scripting side, Java is the most used language in the world, but Python also developers in Python also developed libraries for Python language. So for example, code for high level language, square equal to number star number, which means multiply number into number is equal to square. So easily anyone can understand. Those who know a little bit English, he or she can easily understand the high level language code. So high level language are very comfortable to human being. So most of the people uses high level languages. So these high level languages codes are converted into machine level language code with the help of compiler and interpreter. Compiler compile entire program, interpreter interprets line by line. So there is a three-step procedure to execute a high-level language program understandable by a machine by converting it into machine code. So the step 1, interpreter or compiler is used to translate a program written in a high-level language into its equivalent machine code for execution. And step 2, a linker is used to combine the object and the object code in libraries into machine language. Finally, the machine code generated for the high level code. So this is the flowchart of the step to execute high level language program. First we write the source code and the compiler create a object code for that source code, then linker adding the library program needed to execute the source code, and finally loader execute the program into memory for execution. So there is a three role, one is compiler role, another one is linker role, another one is loader role. So compiler, it is a software that translates a program written in high level language into machine language. This compiled program is called object code. So compiler convert the source code into object code. This object code is an executable code which can run standalone code. It does not need the compiler to be present during the execution, because loading entire compiler program take lots of time. So some cases interpreter doing that job. So every programming languages such as C, C++, Java, it has its own compilers. Interpreter, while a compiler converts the whole source code into an equivalent object code or mechanic code, the interpreter reads the source code line by line and converts it into object code. Example, code understandable to the machine. So interpreter converts the code by line and which is understandable by a machine. Linker adding the subprogram which need to support the source code. For example, if I am working with a mathematical function, so mathematical libraries have to be included. So the linker does this job, and which is useful to load support the loader function. So loader, it's also a software used to load and relocate an executable program in the main memory during the execution. The loader assigns a storage space to a program in the main memory for execution. So now we move on to the Python language introduction. Python is an high-level interpreter, interactive and object-oriented scripting languages. Object-oriented means there is some difference between object-oriented and program-oriented. In object-oriented, for example, if consider two persons A and B, A having a pen in hand and B having a pouch which is consist of pen, scale, rubber and some of the things helpful to writing and eraser like that. So object oriented means the same object used by other person and the same object protected by a person. So similarly, object oriented programming have some additional feature while comparing with program oriented language. C and COBOL are program oriented language, and Java, Python are the object oriented scripting languages. So Python is designed to be highly readable than Java. So Python language is entirely purely based on English language. It uses English keywords frequently, whereas other languages use punctuation, and it has fewer syntactical construction than other languages. So for example, while comparing with C and C++, the statements are finished with semicolon, colon, comma, full stop. These are necessary in most of the cases, but in Python these syntactical are very few while comparing with other languages. So Python is interpreted. We already discussed what is interpretation. Interpreter is used to perform the interpretation task, which is read the program line by line and convert into a machine code which is understandable by the machine. So Python is processed at runtime by the interpreter. You do not need to compile your program before executing it. This is similar to Perl and PHP. Python is interactive. You can actually set a Python prompt and interact with the interpreter directly to write your programs, which means in Python there is a mode called interactive mode which helps the programmer to directly communicate with the compiler. For example, in IT sector they use big number of codes and they are working in a big projects which consist of 300, 400 or 1000 codes. In that cases, if the error occurs, with the help of this interactive mode, we can identify the particular line error by compiling single line. For example, if a program consists of 300 lines, if the error exists in 290th line, which means the program is run by the interactive mode, while compiling the 297 line, it don't show the error, so the program run. While compiling the 298 line, then the program shows the error, so we can easily understand the error with the help of this interactive mode. Python is purely object oriented. Python supports object oriented style or technique of programming that encapsulates code within objects. So object oriented has some features: overloading, inheritance or interface, and encapsulation, polymorphism. These tasks is purely supported in object oriented languages. So Python is obviously an object oriented language, and Python is a beginner language. Python is a great language for the beginner level programmers and support the development of wide range of application from simple text processing to www browser to games. For example, if other major person like a chemistry person or a physics person learning Python, then he or she feel Python is a very easy language. But if a computer science person directly not working in Python, for example, he studied C, C++, Java and moved to Python, the understanding Python language is a little bit difficult because they worked on different compilers, which is a large task. So they trained for the large task, but Python is comparing with other, it's a simple task. So they adapt to this environment is quite difficult, but it's not entirely difficult. But while those who not working with computer environment, they suddenly move on to Python environment, they feel programming language is easy because Python is a beginner's language. History. Python was developed by Guido-van-Rossum in the late 80s and early 90s at the National Research Institute of Mathematics and Computer Science in Netherlands. So Python is derived from many other languages including ABC, Modula 3, C, C++, Alcol 68, Smalltalk and Unix and other scripting languages. And most of them think Python means it's a snake, but Python is named the famous British show Monty Python, which is the favorite show of the Guido-van-Rossum. So he named the language which is created by him because he liked the Monty Python show. These are the samples of the Monty Python show. You can see most of the funny videos on the show in YouTube. And Python laid its foundation in the late 1980s. In February 1991, Van Rossum published the code to alt.sources, which means the first version of Python is started in 1991. After that, in 1994, Python 1.0 is released with new features like lambda, map, filter and reduce. Python 2.0 added new features like list, comprehensions, garbage collection system. On December 3rd, 2008, Python 3.0, which is also called PY3K, was released. It was designed to rectify the fundamental flaws of the language. So, yeah, in an interview, Guido-van-Rossum is interrupted with some questions. In one question, he answered why he created Python language. For that, he said Python is an experiment in how much freedom programmers need. Too much freedom and nobody can read another's code. Too little and expressiveness is endangered. So from the ABC programming language is said to be the predecessor of the Python. So most of the Python codings are depend on the ABC programming language, which is capable of exception handling and interface with Amoeba operating system. So Python is influenced by two programming languages. One is ABC language, another one is Modula 3. Python is copyrighted like Perl. Python source code is now available under the GNU, that is General Public License. So Python is maintained by a core development team at the institute. Van Rossum still holds a vital role in the directing and its process. So Most of the people think why we write codes, why we need softwares. So there is a need for software in three aspects. One is processing, which used in data analytics. Another one is protection, which used in security purpose. Another one is passing, that is delivery purpose. For processing, we need data collection, which is done by a sensor or primary sources or secondary sources or questionnaires, so or through web forms or web application. So most of the data collected and these data have to be processed. So the role of software in data processing, that means data collection as well as the data processing. And another one, we first we collect the data, then we have to protect the data. The data protection mechanism has some different kinds. One, within data, the encapsulation method within data have protection and outside protect the data. So there are two types of protection, and passing the data source to destination. So in all programming languages, in all softwares comes under these three categories, either for processing, either for protection, either for passing. So from this, the Python software versions are updated immediately after some problems rectified. For example, the current version of Python is 3.10.7. This documentation is released on 6th September 2022. So in previous, they listed most of the Python versions based on just 2-month gap, 1-month gap. So that is the gap they release the new versions every time. So these are the real-time applications of the Python. Google, Facebook, Instagram, NASA, Mozilla Firefox, Dropbox, Quora, these all application uses Python. For example, if we search something in Google, Google algorithm record the search, and if another day we search the same thing, if we type the first 4 or 5 words, then the Google immediately display the search result for the previously searched one, because the Google algorithm is designed in Python language. Same time, Facebook uses Python for his business. For example, if we like shawarma, then we lived in Trichy, then the shawarma ad, and which hotel is nearest to your location, it displayed on your address, advertisement block. In some cases, if we move to Bangalore or other cities, then which hotel has high rating in shawarma, then that hotel ad is displayed in your address block with the help of location, internet and Python. These all codes are done in Python. So Facebook enhanced their marketing strategies with the help of data analytics, which is done by Python language. And similarly, Instagram, NASA, Mozilla Firefox browser, Dropbox and Quora and many others are using Python language to enhance their business and enhance their data analytics. So with the help of Python, we can create lot of web application. This web application, we can use Python to develop web application. It provides libraries to handle internet protocols such as HTML, XML, JSON, email processing, requests, beautiful soup and feed parser. It also provides framework such as Django, Pyramid, Flask to design and develop a web-based application. Some important developments of Python are Python block software and Python wiki engines. Desktop GUI application. Python provide TK GUI library to develop user interface in Python based application. Some useful toolkits: WX widgets, Kiwi and PyQuit. Software development. Python hold the software development industry entirely, which is previously ruled by Java, but now entire software industry is ruled by Python. So Python is a helpful software for development process. It works as a supporting language and can be used for build, control and management testing. So scientific and numeric. Python is popular and widely used in scientific and numeric computing. Some useful library and packages are SciPy, Pandas, NumPy. SciPy is the group of packages of engineering, science and mathematics. Business application. Python is used to build business application like ERP and communication system. Trichy is a high level application platform. So console application, audio or video based application, business application, Python rule the entire world. For console application, IPython is the best example. For audio and video application, TeamPlayer and CPlayer is the best example. For enterprise application, OpenERP, Triton and Piccolo. For application for images, VPython, Go and ImageSeek. These are the useful softwares developed in Python. So now arises $1 million question. You need a programming language to program a program. How do you program a programming language to program a program to program programs? So most of them confused to read it, but computer science have a solution with the help of Python. So in data analytics, there is a segment called machine learning and deep learning, which is a subset of artificial intelligence. So with the help of artificial intelligence, we can program a programming language to program. How to program a programming language to program a program to program. So a program itself, create a program and run a program with the help of a program. It's called machine learning or deep learning program. So this $1 million question is solved now. So the features of Python made that language very easy. So Python is easy to learn and use, and Python is an expressive language, and Python is an interpreted language. So with the help of interactive mode, Python is more popular than other languages, and Python is expressive languages, which means it's more more understandable and readable. Easy to learn means Python is developer friendly and high level programming language. While comparing with other high level languages, Python is purely based on simple English. So it's easy to learn and use. Free and open source. Python language is freely available at the official web address. The source code is also available, therefore it is open source. So free and open source means anyone can write code on the Python language, anyone can include the library file, and anyone, if want to any modification in that language, anyone can do it with the help of this open source concept. And Python is object oriented. All the properties of object oriented languages it used in Python language, and Python is extensible, which means it can include C, C++ or any other languages code we can include in Python language. Large standard library. While comparing with library files, Python has large and broad library and provides rich set of module and function for rapid application development. GUI programming support. Graphical user interfaces can be developed using Python. Integrated. It can be easily integrated with other languages like C, C++, Java. So these are the famous Python IDEs: PyCharm, PyJetBrains, PyDev with Eclipse, SpiderPython, Komodo IDE and Wings IDE. These are the popular Python software available, and the links are displayed there. So basic Python, Python has a basic Python is similarly like other languages. It has a setup file. So we can install the Python by using this step. So these are the steps, and this zip file stores the Python installing procedure. Thank you.